Hello and welcome to How to Rapamod. Just in a video showing how to remove the glue. As you can see, it's all gone. Right, we're now going to put on another wrap. This one, which is hopefully going to look like a book. Got a little Vapor's Prayer on the side. I don't know if camera will pick that up or not. But we'll see anyway. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the main section and we're going to start from the buttons. Now, in my first fitting one of these, I said to just overlap and be a slight distance away from the button. So now I'm going to try this one by being up tight to that button so that there's less overhang when you get round. But it is kind of trial and error. Alright, so don't know how well that will pick it up. You can see I'm overhanging, I'm touching the button there. I've got a little gap at the bottom and a little gap at the top. It is tiny, it's fractions of a mil, quarter of a mil, the gap I've got at the top and bottom. So now we're going to pull this round just to see if we're running level, and I appear to be running level. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to rub up and down like that, from the center outwards, up and down, and then bring this over around the other side just to see how well we're running. And I am running slightly off, but I'll pull that down in a minute. Right, now you can get some heat on this bit if you want, but it is quite warm in here at the moment, so I'm just going to carry on for now without putting any heat on it. I can put some heat on it later. So firm pressure along the back spine. Okay, now there I am running slightly off. It needs to come slightly down, it needs to twist that way slightly. So what I'll do is, if I hold it, look at it, and just pull it so that it's level, and now it looks level, maybe a little bit more. It will stretch slightly. If you're that concerned about it, you can take it back up and reposition if you want, but it will stretch slightly just to allow you to reposition. So now I'm going to pull down, looks better, smooth it across, try not to get any air bubbles. Just check there's no catching at the top. Yeah, there is slightly there, so I'm still slightly too high. So what I'll do is move this or pull it back slightly. Now leveled up with the top, so hopefully when I go round it'll now be level. A lot of when you're putting a wrap on, it's all about patience and just taking your time and not trying to rush it. That's better. And then smooth that. Now See what overhang we've got this side, and it is slightly onto the button, but that doesn't matter, we can sort that. So possibly do with when you first start off, hanging over slightly onto the button instead of touching it, just slightly onto it. See, I'm learning as we go as well. Smooth them down. Check that you've got no air bubbles. Back we'll sort out in a minute. I've got a bit under there. Don't know if you can see that, if the camera will pick it up, but that's my fault. Should take more care. It looks like a bit of fluff, so that'll be a pain in the arse to remove. But here we go. Let's see if I can get rid of it. That is one of the things with wraps. As soon as you remove them from the backing, they become a static magnet, and anything will just, you know, get attracted to it, and it's one of the most common problems I have is dust, and it can be a pain in the arse sometimes. Right, so now we're at that stage, so what I'm going to do is grab my heater and just put some heat onto these returns just here where they go down into the recess. Just warm them up. You don't want too much heat because you don't want to melt them, but you want them to become nice and pliable so you can smooth them down nicely, and then using your nail just tuck that bit down into the recess onto the other side, warm it up nicely. Now that one is slightly onto the button. Like I said, it shouldn't be a problem. With heat, and then tuck that down into that recess again. Sorry if you couldn't see any of that. Down into that recess, back onto the other side. Tuck that one down. Just keep working your nail along it. Bit of heat again. Keep smoothing it with your nail so it sticks down nicely. This is part of the problem with the glue sticking so well on these, is because we have to use heat for around these. There we go, that's down nicely. Even though I was up against the button on the one side, it's gone down and shouldn't cause a problem. Like I say, when you come to do it, if you overlap onto the button, when you start off, on it slightly, it's only a fraction, you know, half a mil onto the button, and then hopefully when you get round the other side, it'll be the same. Right, it's looking good. Right, the back. just add some heat to the back. And now from the centre up and down, from the centre up and down, just nice firm pressure, a bit more heat. And now with your nail, just nice and gently from the centre up and down on both sides, just to push that vinyl down into that. And there we go, that's down. I don't know if you can see it very well. There. Let's move that out the way. There we go, it's all looking good, all looks stood pretty well. Mod's quite warm, I've got to admit. Sorry about that. Right. Your next part is your buttons. Now, this part, sometimes when you remove it from the backing, it can split on just on one of them sides, or it might split on both sides. Don't worry about it. If that happens, it just means that this section will be separate. It's because the gap from the button to the edge is that small, and it depends on the temperature of the wrap when you remove it and things like that. But hopefully it will come off as one. If it split one side, you should be alright. Just, when you put it down, smooth this side down. It's not going to catch on anything because it's recessed. If it split both sides, just work on the bottom section first and then place the top section on. Hopefully you'll be lucky and it isn't split. Right. If you look directly down and line up with your buttons, I have to get something to hold this. Right. Look directly down, line up with your buttons, but remember the buttons do move. So I line up with the reset. Just line up with that over the top fire button. There we go. Just push that down. And now you can have a look and see. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me, to be honest. Now, using your nail, just smooth it down around the side of your button. Just remember, there isn't much space there. I have reduced the top slightly, so I found that was catching a little bit, so I have reduced that back. But if you do get one of my wraps and it is slightly sticking over, it's because that's from the first batch that I did. It never come off, it was just something I noticed. So just run around it with your nail, just seating it down nicely. There we go. Push that in. There we go. And that's the side on. Let's see if I can get a decent look at that. As you can see, that's on. The bottom. Let's do the bottom. Just look down, line up with the charging port so that that's central. Look across, make sure that that's lined up and appears to be nice and easy. that one. The top exactly the same as before. Yeah, just line it up, make sure it's level, and if it's level, smooth it down. There you go, all on, looking good. And I don't know how well you'll pick up any of this. And there, I'll see if I can take some pictures of that. But yeah, there you go, another one on, looking pretty damn good. I quite like them, looking like a book. There you go. Thank you.